him, and everyone has all these good things to say about him, right? But my point in mentioning that is, if they weren't true, guess who would have brought them up? The defense, because that's always what happened. If some guy is on trial for murdering his wife or something, you always hear about the wife having some sort of internet relationship, or she was a undercover stripper or something. Something comes up where they try to downgrade the character of the witness. None of that happened in this trial, which forces me to believe that this was just a good dude. He's just a good dude, a dude who loved his people and loved his family, man. And Aaron Hernandez took it upon himself. Him and his cronies took it upon themselves to take this man's life. So when the judge or when the foreman stands up and says guilty on all 6 charges, guilty, 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 by all means, take your ass to jail, man. Deal with that. Deal with what could have been. And like if you look at Aaron Hernandez sitting there, a lot of people have a lot of different interpretations of what they saw, and I'll get into that in a second after I let you guys hear the rest of what Miss Ward had to say about her son Odin. She talked about when she had to bury him.
The day I laid my son Odin's life to rest, I felt my heart stop beating for a moment. I felt like I wanted to go into that hole with my son.
Man, I don't know who all listens to this show, and I don't know what your relationship is with your mom, but I've got a very, very strong relationship and a very strong bond with my mom. It's not one of those situations like my dad was always there. So it's not that type of situation where, it's just me and her and we struggled through the whole thing, but there is a special thing between she and I. And I can hear my mom in Miss Ward's voice when she's talking about her son, and it does something to me, man. And I'm not an emotional dude. I'm not really a crier, not because of some type of punk thing or anything like that. It's just not who I am. But I do feel the level of empathy that I feel is appropriate for this. I feel that I can definitely relate to hearing her say those things about her son and how she felt about putting him in the ground, what a lot of people would call long before his time, and of course, hearing all those things, you can naturally assume that she'll miss her son, and she talked about that as well.
Odin was my first best gift I ever received. I thank God every second and every day of my son's life that I spent with him.
Yeah. I mean, her fate is gonna get her through, but it's still gonna be hard. Like with everyone thinking like, okay, this is over, and using words like closure and all that kind of stuff. Here's what's real. Things will come up. His birthday will come. Mother's Day will come. Those type of things will happen, and guess what? Her son won't be there, and that's something that that's gonna have to be on her heart forever and a day. Because some idiot who had the world at his feet decided he wanted to play thug and wanted to play Mr. Enforcer. See, stop playing games. Stop. Because at the end of the day, like, you ain't gonna hear. Like, when's the last time anybody heard from Ray Caruth, or even cared to? Exactly. Like for as much as you felt like people cared and was cheering your name and you was lighting up the crowd. There'll be another. That's what the NFL is. In 2 weeks, it's going to have a whole new crop of young, strong, fast human beings. There'll be another one, and you'll be forgotten. You'll go down in the annals of time as a nothing, as a nobody, as a psychopath, serial killer, and that's it. No one will care about you playing tight end for the New England Patriots. This dude is 25 years old, man. The 25-year-old kid. And this is what his life has amounted to. Now, I was talking earlier about, how he was looking when they read the verdict. To me, he was almost looking like he expected to be here. If you know about his past and his history, How people say his demeanor changed once his dad died, and the things he started getting into. He started running with gangsters and doing a whole mess of weed and all this kind of stuff. And even his days at Florida, some of the things that he was involved in at Florida. Some kid, I think, lost an eye. Not lost an eye. That was another kid. But some kid got hurt real bad. Some other kid got, there was a shooting down there that he was supposedly involved in. Oh, before I go on, the other victims. I almost lost my train of thought. The other victims involved, not just Odin Lloyd's family. If you heard the first clip I played, that yelp that you heard, that was his fiance, his baby mama, hollering like that, hugging with his mom, crying, and they shouldn't be demonized because of their association with him. They shouldn't. You know what I mean? I consider them victims as well, because now his baby girl, the one of the last victims in this, she'll know her dad through letters and talk to him through glass. That's what their relationship will be from now until the day he dies, or God forbid she goes first. Yeah, that's not real for anybody. You know what I mean? Like I'm the dude that I said all the time. Me and my old lady talks. She can't understand how I'm this way. I don't have that thing in me that makes me have an allegiance towards someone just because we share DNA. Like if Jerry Sandusky was my dad, yeah, I'm done. Ain't no writing to him. Ain't no going to visit him. Like, I'm not going to visit nobody in the joint, first of all, because the biggest thing to me is they treat people who visit prisons like prisoners. You walk in there, you gotta get frisked down if you ain't wearing the right thing. If it can't be removed, like if you got something on your jeans or something that somebody might think can be used as a weapon or something, like you got a metal belt loop or something like that. Nah. You going home. No matter how far you drove to see that person, you going right back home. You ain't seeing nobody because security is of the utmost. Yeah, I'm not going through that for nobody. Do the right thing. I don't care who you are. So my larger point is that his mom, she in a sense lost her son. Like she won't be able to interact with him the way a mother should be able to interact with her son. His baby don't have a daddy. Not for real, only in title. And his fiance, is what it is. So I don't know. It's a tough look, man. It's such a tough look. And the more and more I sit here and I think about these type of situations, I forget who. Well, I think Louis Riddick said it earlier today on ESPN. He was like, nobody won. Like nobody won. Like yeah, it was a guilty verdict, but guess what? Odin Lloyd's in the ground. Like the guilty verdict ain't just gonna make him rise up and come back to life. He's gone, man. His family got to deal with that. I don't know what the situation's gonna be between these sisters now. It's because of one man's lack of self-control and lack of self dignity, man. And having such low self-esteem that the way he want to solve his problems is go murder people, like execute people. All right, whatever, man. But back to the body language thing. It almost looked to me as though he was like, yeah, my story was gonna end this way, one way or the other. Knowing what I know about his past, it didn't even look like it surprised him. Like he's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. It was almost like, yep, kind of figured this was gonna be me. But what was funny today to me, not funny, haha, but strange to me, I first saw the story break on CNN, and their reporter, the lady who was reporting for them, she reported seeing a deflated Aaron Hernandez, a guy who, for the first time since she's covered the trial, looked as though the wind was knocked out of him. Later on, I go downstairs and I'm looking at ESPN, and their reporter, Michelle Steele, who's been on ESPN all day, like doing live reports too, not even like the same one just recorded. So good for her. But she reported seeing this dude with the same swagger and cockiness that he's had, even more so since she's been covering the trial. And it's one of those things that's always bothered me about jury trials, when you see them and somebody gets convicted of something, and one of the things they like to say is like he didn't show any remorse. Like, okay, so what would that have done? Like, if a dude busts out crying when you tell him he got life, what's gonna happen then? You know, what are you gonna do? Like okay, now since you're so emotional about this and you're crying about it, what we'll do is we'll give you the opportunity for parole. No, the rules say in Boston, Capital One, first-degree murder, guess what? Yeah, no parole. Life, no parole. That's what it is. So him being full of emotion, emotionless, means nothing. Or him looking like he still had all the swag in the world, or like the lady on CNN was talking about. I hate that I didn't catch her name, but it only struck me to even know who she was because of the opposing report from Michelle Steele based on what she saw. And then myself, my version of it, looking at him like, yeah, he just looked like, yeah, this is probably how it was going to be. Even when he turned around to, at one point he turns around to his mom and his old lady like, yeah, y'all be strong. I'm going to be all right. Because the reality is he's been locked up for 2 years anyway. Like, he's been in the pokey for 2 years. Speaking of the jail he's in, TMZ actually has a report about the prison that he's going to. If I can find it, it's supposedly it's like the most secure prison in the United States is where they're sending him. Everything is they've got cameras everywhere. They've got like these I don't know what you want to call it as far as the microwave fences around the joint. It's supposed to be ridiculously ridiculously secure. I don't know if this dude is necessarily an escape risk or anything like that, but it struck me as interesting. The prison that this is per TMZ, the prison that Aaron Hernandez will eventually call his home is widely considered one of the most high-tech maximum security facilities in the country, and maybe even the world, TMZ Sports has learned. We spoke with an official from the Massachusetts Department of Correction who tell us Hernandez will eventually end up in the Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center in Lancaster, Massachusetts. This place is insane, with 366 security cameras rolling 24/7 on 18 acres of land. From my understanding, it's like a mile or two away from where he scored touchdowns for the New England Patriots. So, just the poetic irony of the situation. Officials say the computer system that operates just about every inch of the grounds is top-of-the-line stuff. We're told the perimeter surveillance system includes taut wire and microwave detection systems. Not sure really what that means. I'm not any type of science nerd or anything. And according to reports, no one has ever successfully escaped the prison. There's more. According to reports, inmates must wear white sneakers to avoid gang colors. They're also allowed to display photos of family members, but no naked women. And if you remember when Aaron Hernandez first went to jail, there were pictures published of him drawing naked women. But before he ends up in SBCC, that's the initials of the facility. We're told Aaron will spend some time in MCI Cedar Junction, a transitional facility that's only a few miles from the stadium where the Patriots play. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. This high-tech place is not a couple miles away. The place that he'll go before he transfers there is. While there, we're told inmates are not allowed to have conjugal visits. Well, whatever. That's what you get for murdering some dude. And he'll have, if there's a version of Fleece Johnson there, a.k.a. the Booty Warrior, he'll have enough conjugal visits forced upon him if justice is real. I'm just saying that. This is exactly how I would feel if it had been someone close to me that this was done to. To each his own. I know some people, don't believe in capital punishment and don't believe in this, that, or the other. whatever. I'm the guy. I don't have a belief either way. I think